Hello student, this is your physics teacher and welcome to my online physics class. So today in this session we will start the topic and we will try to find out the relationship between the object distance, image distance and the radius of curvature of any spherical surface and of course it is the refractive index. So let's start. So here we will try to find out the relation. So refraction at the spherical surface. What type of a spherical surface? It will be convex. So it will be convex like this. Okay, spherical surface. And one more important thing, that if we are assuming that the real image is formed. For real image to be formed, the rays after reflection or refraction from the object, they should meet really, otherwise a virtual image will be formed. So real image is formed, and also we have assumed that rays are moving from rarer to denser medium. Okay, so let us suppose this one is a refracting index. It has a refracting index of mu1 and this one has a refracting index of mu2. Okay, and of course let us suppose the left one is the rarer medium and this one is the denser medium. Okay, now here there are some assumption that the angle subtended by the object along with the principal axis will be very small. So in that case, the whatever be the angle, let us suppose it is alpha. So alpha can be considered to be very small. Okay, and in that case alpha can be written as tan alpha if alpha is very small. Similarly, I and R will also be very small because the aperture of this is very small, that is diameter of this spherical surface. Okay, so it is a convex spherical surface. Okay, convex spherical surface. How? Because from the rarer medium, if someone see, then it will appear convex, and that's why the spherical surface will be known as convex spherical surface. Okay, and if it appears to someone, if that person is in the rarer medium, and if to someone this surface of separation, if it is appearing concave in shape, then it will be known as concave spherical surface. So right now it is convex spherical surface. So here we will assume a point object lying on the principal axis. So this one is, let us suppose this one is our point object. So from this point object, two types of ray will come out. One ray will go along the principal axis, and of course if it is going along the principal axis, it will go undeviated, it will not change its direction. But another one, let us suppose this one. Okay, it is making it is going obliquely and making some angle of incidence. At this point we draw a normal over here. So this broken line represents normal. So of course if this is the a spherical surface, this is normal, definitely this normal will pass through the center of curvature C, and this is the pole P, center of curvature, and this object, both are lying on the principal axis, and the line cuts the spherical surface at the point P. So this P point will be known as the pole. So P is the pole, C is the center of curvature, and O is the object position, and this is a point object. So now here the rays have a tendency that it will bend towards the normal. because it is moving from rarer to denser medium, so it has a tendency. But how much it will bend, it depends on the bending power, or you can say the focusing power of this spherical surface. So it may bend to some extent and it may bend to larger extent. If it is bending to larger extent, in that case the refracted ray will definitely cut at any one point on the principal axis. Okay, so if it is cutting at any one point, there this refracted light rays and this one refracted light ray, so they are meeting really, okay, they are meeting actually. So this will be the image position. Here the image will be formed of the object O. So let us suppose this point is I, okay, because one ray is going to this direction and one ray is going towards this direction, and after refraction it is goes to this one, and both the rays meet at this point I. So I is the position for the image. But what will happen if the bend has happened but not to a larger extent? So in that case what will happen, let us suppose it has bent, it has undergone somewhat deflection or bending towards the normal, but let us suppose very small one. So in that case these ray and this one ray, they will never meet in this side. The bending has happened, but the rays are actually moving away from each other, this one along the principal axis and this one along this one. So both the rays are not meeting each other this time. So if they are drawn backward, they will definitely meet each other at just in front of this spherical convex spherical surface. So in that case the rays are actually not meeting, rays are appearing to meeting at this point, because for any eyes to be placed, okay, it will appear to object, it will appear to the eyes that light rays are coming from this point. So this will be the image. So here the virtual image will be formed. So there are two possibilities. In first case the real image is formed, and the second case virtual image is formed. So we will go both, but we will go actually in detail in both the cases. But right now here we will do we will try to find out the relation for the real image. So let's start. So here the angle of incidence, let us suppose this one is I and this one is angle of refraction is R. I and R are very small because this point where the rays, this ray, incident ray is meeting this spherical surface, okay, at the point A, the point A is very close to the point B, and that's why the angle I and R will also be very small. So in that condition we can write like this: sin I divided by sin R is equal to mu2 divided by mu1. This is the Snell's law. This is the Snell's law. So in that condition we can write I by R is equal to mu2 by mu1. So on cross multiplication we will get mu1 I is equal to mu2 R. Mu1 I is equal to mu2 R. So now let us give some angle, give the name of some angles. Let us suppose this one angle is alpha, okay, this one angle is gamma, and this one angle is beta. So this one is alpha, this one is gamma, this one is beta. So in triangle, this one triangle OAC, OAC, is there any external angle? See, OAC, is there any external angle? Yes, the external angle is this one I, and you know very well that external angle of any triangle is equal to the sum of the two opposite internal angle. So here the two opposite internal angles are alpha and this one is gamma. So we will write like this: alpha plus gamma. So this is our first equation, I is equal to alpha plus gamma. The next thing, in the triangle AB, let us suppose this point is D, ADC or ACD. So in triangle ACD, okay, ACD, what is the external angle? Here the external angle is gamma. So we will write gamma is equal to, the internal angle is R and this one is beta. So we will write it R plus beta. So from here we will try to find out the value of R, and we will get R is equal to gamma minus beta. So this we know is our second expression. We will try to put all the value of I and the value of R in this equation. So just put it. Let us suppose this one is equation 1, this one is equation 2, this one is equation 3. So putting the values in equation 1, we get, see what we are getting, mu1 into I will be equal to alpha plus gamma is equal to mu2 into R will be equal to gamma minus beta. Okay, see, mu1 into I alpha plus gamma. Okay, now as the angle alpha, beta, gamma are very very small, because the aperture is very very small and this point A is very close to the point B, so we can say that all the angles are small. So in that case, alpha can be written as tan alpha, similarly beta can be written as tan beta, gamma can be written as tan gamma. So just writing, alpha can be written as tan alpha, this one will become tan gamma minus tan beta. Okay, now put the value of alpha. For trying to find out the value of tan alpha, we just draw a perpendicular from the point A on the principal axis, and let us suppose the perpendicular is AM, where M definitely it will be very close to P. So just putting the value of tan alpha will be equal to tan of anything, tan theta, let us suppose it is equal to perpendicular by base, remember. Okay, so here the perpendicular is this one AM and this one is the base OM plus, similarly we will write the value of tan gamma. See this triangle, we always take the right angle triangle, so here tan gamma will be equal to perpendicular by base, so perpendicular will be equal to AM divided by MC. Similarly we will try to put the value, tan gamma will be equal to AM divided by MC minus tan beta will be equal to this one AM, and what is this one, MI. Okay, so in the numerator AM quantity are common, AM. So if I take the factor AM, and definitely it will cancel each other because it lies on both sides of the equal sign, so it will cancel. So now we will get 1 by OM plus 1 by MC minus 1 by MI, but again M is very very close to the point P. So in place of M we will use we will put this sign P, because whatever the distance we will measure from the pole. Okay, and this distance of course it will be equal to object distance, because object is here and the distance of this object from the point P is object distance, and this is known as U. Similarly, the distance of the image from the pole will be equal to V, and this distance will be equal to the radius of curvature. So all the distance are measured from the point P, so we need to place P in place of M, so that we can write it U, V, R, all these things. So just putting the value of putting the letter P in place of M, the equation becomes like this. See, mu1 1 by all m's am cancel out, so om will become op plus 1 by this one mc will become pc will become pc minus mi will become pi. Okay, so just now put the value of op, pc and pi. But what is op? op is the object distance. So object distance, whatever the distance, if you are measuring from right to left, okay, whatever distance, we have to measure it from the pole. So to measure the op, okay, we have to go in this direction, that is from right to left, that is to the opposite of the original direction of the ray. Rays are initially going from left to right, so this is the original direction. So original directions are considered to be the positive. So here in this direction if you are going, then we have to measure the distance as negative. So here the object distance will be negative, so putting the sign minus u over here. Similarly, what will be the value of pc? pc, of course, it is in the same direction of the original incoming direction, so here pc will be equal to simply plus r, and similarly pi will also be plus v. So just put the value of all these things. mu1 1 by minus u plus 1 by r equal to mu2 1 by r minus pi. Okay, multiply the all the things, we will get minus mu1 by u plus mu1 by r mu2 by r minus mu2 by v. This v and u terms are placed on, or you can say that it is to be kept on the left side of the equal sign. So we will get mu2 by v minus mu1 by u, and this will becomes mu2 by r minus mu1 divided by r. Okay, so here see the expression mu2 by v minus mu1 by u is equal to mu2 minus mu1, because the denominators are same. So this is the relation, between the object distance u, image distance v, and the radius of curvature, and also you are finding that refractive index of the two media. So this is the relation for the convex spherical surface. If the spherical surface is concave, okay, even then the result will be same. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you will like it, and remember, if the rays are actually you can say that rays are now moving from the denser to rarer medium, then how the relation, this relation will be same or not? Of course this relation will get changed. Simply we have to interchange this mu1 with the mu2. So the expression will look like mu1 by v minus mu2 by u is equal to mu1 minus mu2 divided by r. So this is the relation when rays are moving from denser to rarer medium. Okay, thank you.